IDA's Learning Center. Define default constructions. Default constructions are one of the global data items in IDA's. They are accessed through the General tab and by clicking onto Defaults. In this interface, the user specifies default constructions which are then attributed to the model. In the same interface, the user also specifies generator efficiencies for heating, cooling and domestic hot water. This is however not covered in this tutorial. We start the attribution process by selecting the external wall construction. In the pull-down menu we select to search in the database. And for the external wall we define a concrete wall as a default construction. You will notice a little copyright sign that has appeared next to the name of the construction we've just selected. The copyright sign indicates that this is a copy from the database which has not been amended. Once we carry out alteration to this construction, the copyright sign will disappear. By clicking on the name of the construction type, the construction definition window opens up. In here we can both view the data for the construction, but we can also amend it. At the very top there is a description for the construction, and next to it a U-value definition and the thickness, both of which have been calculated based on the layer-by-layer material definition, which we can see down here. The Add and Delete button allows us to add and delete material layers, and we can also rearrange the order of the material layers with these two buttons. If we want to review the thermal properties of a particular material, we first select the material and then click on the right arrow next to its name. This opens up the material form, which shows us the conductivity, density and specific heat for this particular material. We now want to add an additional material layer into the construction. First we add the location where we want to add the layer, and then we click on the Add button. We then also need to attribute a material with this new layer. What we have so far available is all the materials which have been copied across with the constructions which we've attributed in the first place. In this particular case, we now assume that we want to not select any of these materials, so we want to go to the material database and select an item out of the central database. In this case, we are choosing a 20 mm air gap. And now we need to change the thickness to 20 mm, 0.02 meters. And you can see that the U-value has changed and the thickness of the construction has changed as well. Now we want to save it under a new name. So we're typing external wall type 1 and we're removing the old name. And we are saving all the changes that we've applied. In a similar way, like we've specified the external wall constructions, you would also need to specify all the other opaque constructions of the model. We're now moving on and are going to be specifying the window properties, so we're clicking onto glazing. And as you can see right now, no glazing type has been selected, so we're going to be choosing one from the database. In this case, we are selecting a 3-pane glazing system. On this interface, you can see all the technical information which is attributed with this particular glazing type. On the right-hand side, you can see the glazing U-value as well as internal and external emissivity. On the right-hand side, you can see shading coefficients, specified as both the G-value and as the direct solar transmittance. The G-value is a combination of the direct solar transmittance as well as heat that has been absorbed by the glass panes and is re-emitted into the space in form of long-wave radiation. Because there's different engineering cultures in different countries, shading coefficients has been specified as absolute values, as a single pane reference, and as a double pane reference. It's up to the user to select the value that he or she prefers. And now we're confirming all the data we've specified so far. And this is all that is to know about default construction definition.